The following video has been approved by the Jetty marketing team. The video has been rated Jetty. The following video may not be suitable for all viewers. Good morning and g'day mate, and welcome back to Dyson Sphere with me, Jetty. Today we have many projects I want to tick off. Mainly, I want to get everything up and running so we have the ability to start actually making a Dyson Sphere. We need to crank out last couple of buildings, so that is the ray receiver, which we've already got automated actually. It's just not in any of these towers. So we need to put that in a tower, need to make EM rail injectors and put them in a tower. Vertical launching silos, make and put in a tower. Same time, I also want the mini fusion power stations because our power requirements are high, and we keep ripping up wind turbines, which don't produce a lot of power, but they were producing significant amounts of power, and as we slowly rip up more and more of them, we're going to have less power. In fact, that's actually one thing I really wish we got a breakdown on our power. Because that'd be nice, like where our power comes from. That'd be really nice. So yeah, need to do something about those. On top of that, we need to make the miniature particle collider as well and put that in a tower as well. So there's a couple of tasks to do. It also means that I want to attempt, I don't know whether we'll actually get it done or not because it's a hell of a lot of production, but we need to get solar cells, which we sort of prepped for last episode, getting the photon combiners up and running. We also need to get the frame material, and we need the Dyson Sphere components, which require the frame material plus the solar cells. And then finally, we can get the small carrier rockets up and running, which means we can finally start making a Dyson Sphere. But it is episode 13, so who knows? Who knows what's going to go wrong? Anyway, with all that out of the way, first thing I'm going to do is we're near our little production hub. I wouldn't say we're in it, but we're near it. So I'm going to put a tower... Yeah, you know what? There. And we're going to take our very first item, being these guys that we automated many moons ago. And actually, no, we'll leave you at one tile up and run it into... Really? One tile up. There we go. Alright, run that into there. We'll set you to be a ray receiver, which is under that tab. I really wish they wouldn't rearrange things when you swap the views. And I have 6 of them in my inventory for some reason. And now I'm going to have a few more after we remove that belt. Okay, so I want to dump all of those in there. We also need to set a mini fusion, a EM rail ejector, a vertical launching silo, and a, what was the other thing? Particle collider. Yeah, and crank all these down to just 100. Zero's easy to hit, 100's a little bit more difficult. I really wish we could type these numbers in. I'd really like to double click on max or something and be able to type in a physical number. Okay, with that out of the way, you're going to need power, obviously. We'll throw a power pole in there. And we'll be generous and even give you some shippies. Oh, and you're going to need warp cores. So we're going to have to go to our last one that had warp cores, being this one. Yeah, I don't have an output belt there I can access. Okay, we're going to go to item number 6 and up one tile and bring it to there. And then bring it above the accumulator belt. To there? Sure. To there? To ground level? To in there. Okay. I should have looked to see. Yeah, I had a heap of warpers I could have dropped in. Alright, whatever. It's done. It's set up. So, that's 1 out of 4. Yeah, about that, Jetty. Okay. I need to make... Yeah, we're not gonna deal with the belts anymore. We'll wait for me to finalize the design on the Mark II edition. For the moment, we're just gonna go find a bit of empty space, like right here behind processors. Sure. And we're gonna be super lazy, but we're in the late game, so we're allowed to be lazy. And I'm gonna pop one of these here. Another one, say, how close? That close. Okay, you only need little drones, and I don't technically need the big towers, but the big towers have 5 slots, whereas the little towers only have 3 slots. And as we need 4 different items, 4 different items, so on and so forth, we're just going to use the big ones. Okay, so I need... hang on. You need blue things... You need blue things, and you need blue things. Okay, so blue things are definitely going to be high on our list. Super magnetic rings. I also saw aluminium alloy. Oh, no, titanium alloy. That's the one. I keep saying aluminium. Processes. Okay, that's 3 of yours done. Gears. So if I do gears and what was the other item? Graphene? No, nanotubes. Okay, and then set all these again really low. Hit the 100. Just 100. Okay. Demand. Storage. Storage. Yep, more storage, and more storage. Okay. Product. Okay. Helps if you set the filters along the way, Jedi. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll set you for 4. And then I'll set you for 5. I think that'll work. Okay. Let's put an assembly machine in so we can validate. Okay, so we wanted a EM rail ejector. That was one of them, which needs steel. We don't have steel. Okay, not an EM rail ejector. A mini fusion thingamajiggy bob, which requires all these items. Okay, so we should be able to go input, 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 input. Same as we did last time. Have you go up a tile. Let's turn on the light, please. There we go. It's like instant daytime. Makes all the difference. Alright, and put that in there. Okay, can you work? Yes! Okay, that's 1 down. Let's assume that we're going to put your neighbor right there. Does anybody else need nanotubes? No, we already did you. So 1, 2, 3. Is that it? Yes. Okay, so there's only 3 of you now. Alright, so nobody else needs nanotubes. But you're out of output slots. Okay. So we're going to have you do graphene. Because you... No, you... Nope. We're going to have you do steel. Let's start with steel. Alright, and we want to bring in steel... So I want one of these here with that item, and that item, I think. I want you to do EM rail ejector, which requires CPUs, blue things, steel, and gears. Alright. Blue things, gears, and steel. Have you output to there. We want steel. Yes, please. Into there. That'll work. We can tidy things up later. I just want 100. Local demand. Okay. Alright, so the next assembler will just run that belt and that belt and that belt and probably not a gear belt and probably not a steel belt. We'll just drop you there. You, sir, are going to be doing that one. Okay, so you need power. Turns out that's critically important. Okay, so you're running. You're using all of those. You need graphene, which we haven't brought in yet. And you also need silly things. So we need graphene and we need those which aren't actually made, but that's besides the point. Right, graphene and then those silly things there. You need an output belt, which we shall raise up. And we'll set you to just 100. Come on, 100 and 100. Local demands, local demands. Okay. So, then in theory that just leaves the vertical launching silo, which requires silly things plus 2 new items. So the 2 new items are that one and that one, which we mass produce both of those, so they're fine. And you're going to require alloy, which is hidden around the back. So, if we go with one of those. Alright, so we're going to go with that item, plus that item, plus a whole separate belt of item number 3. Can I get room to run alloy around the back? I can! Okay. Which then means I'm just going to dump an assembler right here, because that'll do. And then you're going to have an input, a input, input, input. You're going to do vertical launching silo number 4. And then you're going to have your output belt, which shall come over here with all the other output belts. And then it should be just as easy as finding somewhere to put a damn tower. Go away. Don't break that tile. Actually, did I give you ships? I did. Okay. Find somewhere to put a tower, which shall be right here, it seems. And, oh look, they line up. It's like there was practice or something. I can guarantee you there was no practice. If there was, I would take way less time to get some of this stuff done. Alright, that goes to there, that goes to there, that goes to there. So you're going to be EM rail buildings. EM rail ejectors, just 100. You're going to be fusion stations, just 100. You're going to be vertical launching stations, just 100. And you're going to be particle colliders, just 100 as well. Technically, this guy doesn't need power, nor does he need shippies, but we're going to give him both just because we can. So, if I was to... Why is there no graphene? Woohoo! One more research done. That's our max, actually. Yeah, they now carry 1,000 per trip. Alright, why is there no graphene? That should probably be set to 100 with a local, and that should be set to 100 with a local. Alright, why is there no graphene? Do we not put graphene into one of you guys? Oh, you don't have ships. Okay, but don't you have ships? Oh, you know, you have ships, but you don't have power. Oh, it's the simplest thing sometimes. Okay, we're going and getting that, and that. Okay, so that's done. That's done. There is some stuff here, not much. And then if we go back over to this guy and say demand, 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 and demand, they'll be shipped to here. This will be their permanent resting spot, because then they're available via the logistics vessels to be shipped intergalactically. Yes. Okay. So, that's that problem sorted. Next problem was solar sails. Solar sails. So solar sails, turns out, interesting little recipe that it is. Actually, solar sails. Let's go with solar sails. Solar sails are linked to the photon combiners, and the photon combiners go two places. One, they go into the ray receiver, which we already have ray receivers not having anything to do with the network whatsoever. They also go into solar sails. So it means technically I don't really want photon combiners in the network because of their limited use. So bye belt. It does mean that I have a slot full of photon combiners that I want to get rid of. And the other interesting thing is solar sails, you put in one photon combiner and one graphene, and then you double it and get out 2 solar sails. So it means that for 30 solar sails per second, which is sort of the rough number we've been aiming for, like a full blue belt's worth, we'd need 40 assemblers. That was 30. 40 is going to be out here somewhere. So it's entirely possible. But we could double it quite easily and do 60. Apart from the fact we don't have glass, which is a separate issue, it's just purely I don't have enough smelting. But if we fix that, and actually that can now be cleared because it's now empty, which means that belt and that belt can go away, which actually means, can I get you to do glass, please? And that means that one goes there, which means I clear up that belt and that belt, and helps if I set a filter. That goes there, that goes there. We get rid of that belt, and we get rid of that belt. Oh look, we got a few free slots already. Okay, let's continue this along and do that in there, which means that belt can free up. Which now means my photon combiners can come down here, and I can free up that belt. See, we're making progress. Okay, as I was trying to say, if I take my photon combiner, photon combiner, yes, and I add graphene to it, and then rather than doing 40 assemblers, I do 80 assemblers, because it only needs half a belt of photon combiners. If we did a full belt, that'd be 80 assemblers. It means we'd have 2 belts of solar cells. So what I'm trying to get to is that's what our plan is, to bring in 1 belt of this stuff, to, I don't know, there, and then have our output belt here, which we'll have to raise up and above, which is fine. And then now we've cleared out some of the other goof, we can, oh, down the top. We can bring that belt to there, drop it down to ground level, bring it in. No. Okay, we're going to do slot number 2, which has been now chosen to be graphene. Demand just 100, please, just a little bit, just so I can confirm all my belts work. All right, and then we'll just run that belt out to infinity, and then that means that belt becomes solar sails in, and then if we're going to run 2 belts worth, that becomes the other solar sails in. You can see where we're going with this. We're going big. Go big or go home. 1, 2, 3. There to there to there. Okay, so we're going to go with a single machine there. You, sir, are going to do solar sails, please. We're going to have you do an input far side, close side, and then have you output, I guess in the middle works, doesn't really matter. And then if I pick that up and rotate it and put it down, it'll automatically do the other side, and then I just need to put in some really long belts, like 80 machines worth of really long belts, which we already know is 10 machines longer than what we have here. which means it's going to flow through that oil belt somehow. Now, in the days of Factorio, I would just build my build through a belt like this and just have a small gap where things didn't line up. But because we're playing Dyson Sphere and it's now a 3D game, I can take that belt and say, you know what? I want you out of the way. You shall go to here. And then you shall go back down to there. And then we shall have a pleasant arch of oil. We shall have the oil arch. With oil in my inventory that I just deleted. Yes, we shall have the oil arch that we shall pass under to make solar sails. Because solar sails don't work terribly well when they get wet. There to there. I think this is going to be, like, if that's 30, 40 should be about here somewhere. So we'll intentionally jump down a bit of that. And... oh no. The bots missed some. Like, we're not quite max up. Well, we are actually... yeah, we are max upgrade. So the bots are about as fast as they go before we get into infinite tech. And we're going to be doing some serious bot infinite tech. Alright. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You do have all your inserters before I copy you. Good. 3, 6, 9, 10. 3, 6, 9, 10. 10. 3, 6, 9, 10. And I have 15 assembly machines to my name. Okay. We're going to raid all of those, please. And then... sorters. We're just going to take the sorters anyway. Yeah, I think I needed them. Alright. And then, because of the beauty of the way I set this up, I can just rotate that twice. And we shall walk this way till the one on the far right-hand side goes outside. Oh, that's it. Outside building range. We dump those there. We then... press Alt again to start doing this again, and we'll place all those there. And then power poles, which I'm probably going to run out of. We shall put power there, power there, power there, 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 there. And as quick as that, we have, in theory, yet to be proven, especially when I'm only inputting 100 of those, 6,000 million bazillion solar sails per second. Actually, it probably would help if I set you to be solar sails. And you're just unhappy. Oh, because you don't have input. Okay. Yeah, we need to just give it a sec to make sure all the inputs get here. Thousands of poor drones are flying back and forth. That's emptying real quick. Yeah, we don't actually have the graphene production to keep up with this, but that's fine. We can always upgrade that later, if we ever need to. You know, we might never find a way to actually fire 60 solar sails per second, because it's a lot. It is a lot. Especially when you're building spheres and you're limited to, you know, 500 sails being absorbed per minute. That's in one of my biggest spheres that I'd fully completed before I started launching any sails. So, yeah, this is a little bit of overproduction for the sake of overproduction. Just to really simplify the maths. Come on! Come on, Graphene, you can do it. You just got to slide a little bit further. Every single pass. A little bit further, a little bit further. Nope, you got to get to this one so he can have some, please. Please, 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 sir. We might have run out. Oh no, there's still plenty in there. Okay. Yeah, the line is thick with graphene, and then as it gets a little bit further, the little line of graphene gets shorter and shorter. Actually, no, use just output. So that is that build done. Now, do I want photo combiners in the network at all? I know I said I don't need it, but for the sake of that, $500? $500. We'll put 500 in the network just in case. Oh. Here, you have my photon combiners that if I can't burn them, I don't want them. Even then, I probably still don't want them. Alright, so that's that project done. Next project is going to be the frame material. Now, the frame material is going to require nanotubes, alloy, and silicon. That is probably going to be a giant pain. Okay, and they take 6 seconds to craft. I do not think we're going to be able to get a belt doing 30 per second of these guys, just purely because of the amount of nanotubes they require. The fact that they need 4 means that technically if I wanted to make 30 per second, I'd need 4 solid belts of carbon nanotubes. Which, 1, we can't produce, 2, would make the build very, very, very large. So, I think we're going to... I think we're just going to do 20 machines. 20 machines, which is not quite a belt, but we've had many of these builds that are like 20 or 30 builds, 20 or 30 machines long. So I'm figuring 20 just sounds like a good number. 20 is the number we're going to go with. Also means we have a exact goal to hit. I still don't know whether we can make the nanotubes fast enough, but that's an entirely separate problem. So we would need nanotubes, which funnily enough are literally right there. Yeah, okay. We'd need titanium alloy, which is... Hang on, it's again literally right there. Silicon. No, I'm gonna do it this way. This way's scalable at least. Okay, so they're the 3 items we need. And then if I did 20 assemblers long, that should be easy enough to do. Which should be 3 outputs, 1 input. So let's do a... output 1, output... Ooh... Do I want to scale this up? Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do output 1 there. That way it's on the outside. Then we're going to do output 2 there. Output 3 there. And then that means that becomes an input. And we can potentially mirror it if we need to. Alright, and we want about 20 long, which I'm going to guesstimate is about there. And this should be as quick as everything being off by a tile. 2 tiles. Okay. It's fine. Alright, as I was saying, the other belts are there for spares. That's to run the extra carbon nanotubes, yes. That's the excuse I'm sticking to. Okay, in, out on the right-hand side, and then 3, 6, 10. That makes our ships even faster. Yeah, it's still not going to be enough belt. More belt. More belt. More belt. And more belt. And I did look at the... Number 1. We're producing 60 per second. We're using more than 60 per second. And Purple Science has me worried. Because I added a couple of extra labs. Hang on. 3, 6, 9, 10. I added a couple of extra labs to the green science because that was going to obviously be holding everything up. And hopefully everything else will keep up. do I double this now? You know what? I'm going to just double this now. You go to that tile, that tile. We might as well. We might as well. We're here. We know what we're doing. It's fresh in our mind. So we might as well just double the whole thing right this second. There to there to there. Can I get some foundations, please? Just pop that there. And then we'll pull our carbon nanotubes out as well. And throw them up to there. And then because I off-centered the output inserter, we should be able to just copy, paste, walk. More walking, more walking. Come on, more walking. And if I've done this right, we should go from having 56 assemblers in our machine down to 36 out of building range. Okay. Maybe if I walk back this way a little bit. 36. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. We need more power poles probably when doing this build. We want a power pole in there, power pole in there, power pole there. Power pole. Oh no, because of your sheer size, you're gonna need a power pole every second one. There, and there. Cool. And then it's just a matter of obviously adding some ships. Yes, and some big ships. We want you to do demand. Big demands? Yes. And then you guys will do those as a supply. And then providing everything magically works. Hang on, I've got a little bit. I can throw a little bit in there. These guys should start squishing out new materials. Come on. I need to see the last, like, 4 run. Like, they've been copied and pasted. Of course they're going to run. Like, everything's been copied and pasted, so it should be for 5. But, there we go. That's the silicon. Yep, they're squishing out new materials as well. Which should mean, straight away, something's coming and picking up these to go back to our little temporary production. To pop them out on the belts. So we can start making these 2 things, which will go then to there, and everything is interconnected. Can I set you to 100, please? 100, there we go. All right. Okay, so that's that one done. So that does leave the Dyson Sphere component. Do we have enough time? Do we have enough time? Yeah, look, we're gonna throw together a quick Dyson Sphere component, mainly because it should be dead easy. Although it has a super long crafting time as well from memory. And we've got half a belt of those. Yeah. 8-second crafting time. Crap. Okay. 8-second crafting time. 8-second crafting time means and you need 3, 3, and 3. Okay, nope, I've decided. Unfortunately, episode 13, you can only get so much done in a single episode. It might be a little bit shorter than what you guys are accustomed to. Or do we just get done? Alright, I stopped, I looked, I double checked. We should have enough materials that we should be able to get this done. But I will warn you, it's a big build. It's nothing to be sneezed at. So to get 5 items per second, let's just dump one of these down. Let's clear some room. Okay. Actually, we have Assembly Machine Mark IIs. Alright, let's use some Assembly Machine Mark IIs. Okay? If we're doing these guys, okay, they take 8 seconds each. Alright, we're going to use Assembly Machine Mark IIs to work on a crafting speed of 1. So that means I would need 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of those to get 1 per second, okay? Which is going to require 3 of those. 3 of those per second. 3 of the, what are they called? Structural material? Frame material. 3 frame material per second. 3 cells per second. And 3 processes per second. To get 1 of these per second from 8 machines, okay? Now, sales, we already know we'll get like 60 per second. That's nothing. Processes, we should have heaps. We have this little build over here, which is full of processes. So I'm assuming we have heaps. It should be around about 30 per second, maybe even a bit more. No, it's only got 1 belt, maybe a bit less. I don't know. But we can duplicate that easy enough. The hard one is going to be the frame material, because we've just made that, and that did 15 per second. So at 8 long, we're doing 1 per second. At 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're now doing 5 times 3 is 15 per second. So 5 times 4, 80 machines is going to give us is gonna fully consume our frame materials that we've made here. On top of that, it's only going to produce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 per second. 5 per second of these sphere components. And then we need 2 of those per carrier rocket. So you can see, like, you might have a lot of scale to start with, but as you go up process to process to process, there's less and less and less materials left over. And you start off at 30 per second, you wind up at like 5 per second. So we need 40. Now 40 divided by 1.5 is 26.6 if we were using assembly machine 3s. So 26. So that's going to be roughly our plan. Build 26 of them, and that should get us everything we need. Now, do you have room? No. Okay. And you need 3 in, 3 out. The output's not the hard one, it's the input. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to do... I'm going to intentionally take the frame material from here on a belt. Okay, just to simplify life and have less bots flying things around. And then I'm going to build that as my output. Well, no, I want that to be output. 1, 2, 3. You can be the first belt of input, which we'll just drag to we don't know where. Then we want an input belt going this way, an input belt going this way. 1, 2, 3, and an output belt going that way. So that's the rough plan. And then production. 26 of them will decimate half a belt's worth, which is all we have. Or I could do 13 of them and decimate a whole belt's worth. I don't have a whole belt's worth. No, we're just going to do half a belt. Actually, we're going to do 13 of them. That's probably 13. Okay. We're going to run out of sorters. Okay. In, out. Go to that tower. Grab all of those. We should be good on those. Believe it or not, I'm still good on belts. Okay, so we're going to set your recipe to do Dyson Sphere component. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have you be an output belt. And no, because they have... Oh, I could offset it by 1. Does that work? You would be there. You would be there. you're naturally offset by 1 anyway, aren't you? Yeah. Sure. It makes the builder look a little bit more different. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 3, and then we're going to 10, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then same here. That's our build done. Delete, delete, delete. Delete, delete. Okay, so then that means at this end I put in a tower, like so. And you would be an output. You would be an output. You would be an input on filter number 1, which I don't know what filter number 1 is currently. And you would be an input as well. We want processors. And we want solar sails, which is that one. And then we want Dyson Sphere components for our output. Demand, demand. And as quick as that, we should run out of power poles. Can I just have half? Thanks. There. Yeah, it's going to have to be every 2 machines. Because we're super offset, so everything's a little bit out of whack. Okay. I think I screwed up one of those. Looks a little bit better. Alright, so if we stand at this end and eat that belt, we should see the machines kick in 1 by 1, going up and down, squishing out stuff. Hopefully. Your sorters are full of junk, aren't they? Yeah. Yours are 2. Yours are 3. Damn! No, you're running. You're not running. You're not running. Yeah, they grab CPUs, and because the sorters have a stack, they held on to too much. Actually, can I do that instead? Does that magically fix them? Oh, it does. That's so much easier. And then I hopefully can shovel that back in there. And they all go squishy, squishy. Yeah, they all go squishy, squishy, and squishy out material. Now, this is going to have hopefully enough in there to keep up with the demand to make our buildings, which is going to be important. On top of all that, I just noticed our power went to poop. So, once again, I need to do something about power, which we'll be doing in the next episode. For right now, we're just going to throw... I'm really out of ships. I'm so out of ships. Okay, we're going to throw a power pole on here to make our power go even more poopy. We're going to be back in the next episode where we finally can set up small carrier rockets, which shouldn't take too long. And then we can get into Dyson Sphere production, scaling, ideas, all that sort of stuff. On top of that, our researchers are... Oh, I want to look at purple science. Let's look at purple science real quick. It is fine. It is super fine. Oh, we're like 200 megawatts behind. Okay, power first, other components second. Science is doing great, I think. We have a couple more sciences to go. But with all that said, as always, I'm going to thank you guys so much for watching. We did go a little bit extra to get that last build done. So can you do me a favor? Can you click that like button? It helps. It helps. It helps very, very much. At the same time, if you're new here, you've been watching for a while, whatever it happens to be, check to see whether you're subscribed. Like, you'd be surprised. You know, it's worth. It's a button worth clicking. Mainly because it costs you guys absolutely nothing and very, very much helps out the channel and reminds you when new videos are going to be coming out. Why has that now gone poopies? Oh, that one's gone poopies because that one's gone poopies. Oh boy, we have a few problems that are starting to, a few cracks in the base that are starting to show up. So, Next episode, we shall be fixing a whole bunch of them. As I said, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. All right. Bye.